For decades, Christians have had a focused ministry model that can basically be summed up with the phrase, catch them when they're young and you'll have them the rest of their life. And it's based on a verse from Proverbs that says, train the child in the way they should go, and when they are old they won't turn away from it. And in a practical sense, this has resulted in things like Vacation Bible School, conferences, and weekend away camps, especially things that are affinity driven like sports or band or other shared activity type driven away camps, where they will try to funnel as many kids, teenagers, young adults into those momentary events. And what they will do is that towards the middle, maybe the end, they'll try to create some kind of an emotionally charged environment, usually because of music or other features, and they'll try to get everyone emotionally stirred up and then try to get everyone to make a very provocative, momentary, incisive decision for Christ. Write their name on a card with maybe their phone number or whatever it is, their contact information, and then they'll leave and they'll go home. And it's, in a lot of ways, it's mirroring what various different historical denominations and traditions have believed about baptism. That if you can get a child to be baptized as a child, or to be baptized as an infant, then you've got them for the rest of their life. That there's a formative aspect to that event that'll preserve them in salvation till kingdom come. And this has resulted with a lot of adults now in our society that believe wholeheartedly that because they signed a card, they shake a pastor's hand, they made a confession as a child at VBS or as a teen at camp or whatever, that now they're eternally secure. They've got the fire insurance in place. They can go and live however that they want in the meantime until heaven comes. They can have all the sex, do all the drugs, just live as a normal, average, secular, atheistic, pagan, whatever you want to say, and that when the trumpet sounds, they're good to go. And quite frankly, they're in for a rude awakening. And churches have funneled literally billions of dollars towards this type of a ministry model that focuses on shallow evangelism and uninformed confessions rather than spiritual discipleship. What the statistics actually show is that it's not, if you get them as a kid, they'll stay forever. What it's showing is that when you try to coerce a child into making a decision that they're not cognitively and really thoroughly, comprehensively explained through, they end up abandoning it fairly easily, especially once they get into high school and they start experiencing lectures on things like naturalism, and they start encountering atheists away at college for the first time, and so forth. What the statistics show us in the converse of that is extraordinarily effective is that when you get a man who is an adult, his prefrontal cortex fully developed, I guess you could say, that when you get a man to make a cognitive informed decision to commit himself to Christ, his wife and children are 93% of the time also within a given time frame going to also make similar confessions, that he is going to lead them into faith. Whereas if a mother does, it's less than 10%, and when a child does, it's less than 10% that the other members of the family will follow after them. And this is something that has been kind of revitalized in the minds of a lot of Christian leaders because they've started trying to make evangelistic inroads into very strong patriarchal communities like Southern Asia and the Middle East and Africa and South America, where if you don't convert the head of household, you're actually putting the rest, whatever member of the family does convert, into mortal danger, usually causing them to be expelled from the house, maybe even from the community that they live in, making it in some ways more difficult to continue evangelism in that area. That in fact, when you make direct evangelistic appeals to heads of households instead, not only the conversion rate, but also the stability of the evangelical commission there ends up growing with it, because a head of household who is respected in the community is less likely to be experience punitive measures from that community because of the honor-driven nature of those societies. So it's something that we really need to focus on, that on the one hand, we need discipleship matrix type ministries that are reaching men and encouraging them to be men, and then also that is encouraging them to seek Christ for salvation, become disciples in and of themselves. And as they become disciples, they will naturally and inevitably become disciplers of their own families, their wives and children, and then also their sisters, mothers, fathers, and brothers. And that evangelism will grow far more exponentially and more stably throughout the community, as opposed to try and just manipulate the emotions of unexpecting and incomprehensive minors.